Good evening to the millions and millions of Super League fans worldwide. Churchtown and the Gazelles are right down the bottom, whereas the Devils are on the march up. The Super League is upside down and we love it. And as usual, for your weekly fix of absolute nonsense, we have a prime selection of the Super League's greatest characters. Good evening, Jamie. How are you,
How's it
sir?
going? Yeah, good. Could be better, but yeah, never mind.
Don't you worry, mate. As you know, I'm never one to brag.
Lucky me.
He can't hear me, look. He can't hear over how awesome it is at the moment. Greavesy, how are you, pal?
I'm all right, buddy. I'm all right. Getting over Sunday, but I'm all right.
D, enjoying yourself, pal? You still enjoying life in the Super League?
I am away from home. Yeah, massively. At home, not so much, but anyhow, we've got another chance at it this week, so we'll see where we go.
And we're also graced by the presence of the man who knew the co-chairman before he was a Waitrose wanker. Good evening, C-Mac. How are you?
Good evening, Fifey, mate. How are you, mate? I'm very well.
Yeah, I'm very well as well. Thank you very much for asking. Right, lads, let's get straight into it and let's talk some of the results from this week. It was another double header with the usual Sunday show and a midweek on Sunday. And Steve, it turns out we're coming straight to you. Dudley 0, Astor 2. That wasn't a great start to your or end to your weekend, was it?
No, I think I lost my head a bit after obviously 2 home defeats where obviously we all know what happened first time. And I think the first half of my second game, I was better again against Odger, but then he came out and totally smashed me in second half. So I went for it big time and it bit me on the arse really. So it is what it is, isn't it? It's I won't be doing it again. So certainly won't be doing it again. But hey, you live and learn, don't you? Live and learn doing it. So
absolutely, pal. And following on from your game, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I was delighted again, as I said a few times, as someone who's spent what seems like an eternity down there. I was absolutely buzzing to see Gazelles 1, Hooligans 2. Jamie, without putting too fine a point on it, you've, without being quite as bad as me, you've not exactly enjoyed the most successful tenure in the Super League. So it's always nice to see someone get off the mark, isn't it?
Yeah, you never want to see someone completely adrift from everyone. So it was nice for Hools. He hasn't played that bad, but obviously ultimately results are everything. But it was nice to see him get his 3 points and kind of, you want everyone, was staying in contention for the playoffs around there as long as you possibly can. It's never nice, me and you know too well that, it's never nice when you get halfway through and the season's already over and you're just waiting for the next one. So yeah, it was great for Jens to get his first 3 points.
No, I couldn't agree more, mate. As I said, I was delighted. Chris, as grudge matches go, Haggis v Bostock is up there, and they won 4-2. Were you impressed with what you saw?
Yeah, do you know what? Obviously, me and the Haggis boys have got a nice little mutual sort of admiration going on for each other. I think they definitely needed that result after the pumping from Astor. And to be honest, I don't like the Yorkshire cartel. No offence, Steve, as lovely a guy as you are. Lancashire pride's at stake. The wife's Scottish. I've got to back us boys and also the Scots lads over any of the Yorkshire boys. So, yeah, it was a good game. I think, don't get me wrong, like I said, big fan of Rocks and Ian and Tato and whatever else, but maybe get to the 30-point mark before you start declaring yourself champions and putting out a video every day of you walking in shady areas talking about Super League, you know what I mean? Love them boys to bits, but
as you know, I try and be nice to everybody. I try not to upset anybody. But the one thing I refused to stand for was bullying, and I got accused of bias on my appearance in commentary. But it was as if you saw it midweek where the way they just looked over my magnificent victory. Clearly, they know about the slight Scottish heritage in my blood, and suddenly everyone's second favourite club has become one of the more hated clubs just because we sort of back to the Highland brothers, so to speak. Game number 4, and we come to you, Mr. Greaves. was a 0-0 with Fulchester.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was happy with the result. We should have got a win, but then rolled on to Wednesday and we got stuffed. I'd done too many changes to Hulls. I thought I could try a few different people out, and it turned around to bite me on the arse. And I've had a bit of a rethink because I'm now winless in 3. So I thought I'd mix things up, and I've sold my soul for the 271. So it's go from there.
Were you happier with the point, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, on balance, you look at I set that team up, and the tactics I submitted were actually meant to be very attacking, having a go. I might have had direct passing on, I can't remember. I was trying to shift the ball up the pitch, essentially. And obviously, whatever Greavesy did, countered it brilliantly. And I think in the end, if it wasn't for Buffon, Yepes and Valgarin, I'd have absolutely got hammered that game. So Greavesy definitely deserved the win. I was very happy with the point on the balance of play and looking at the stats. Kept the unbeaten run going. So, yeah, I felt bad for Greavesy, don't get me wrong, but there'll be times where maybe Greavesy nicks a point and he shouldn't have done and whatever else. And generally, Super League this year just seems so much tighter. I mean, I know Ian was talking about, Ian from Haggis, was talking about, people need to be picking up points, this, that and the other. And I got what he was saying, momentum's good and this, that and the other. But the difference between top and bottom is still only 6 points or something, or 8 points, whatever it is. That's really not much. And as we saw at the back end of last season, and the middle of last season, I didn't win a game in about 8 games or whatever it was. Ian was win, lose, win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. It is still wide open up until probably games 19 or 20 when you know your top 4 will be. But up until that point, I get what Ian's saying, and it's useful to have the points on the board, but there's still not a massive reason for anybody to panic, particularly, say, Citizen Edwards.
Well, it was actually them we were coming on to next. And Steve, I was going to ask you, Northern Burn 1, Churchtown 1. Is that arguably the unluckiest team in the Super League at the minute, Northern Burn, against arguably the most underperforming in Churchtown?
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah, I think the thing is, Kieran's trying a few things that he probably hasn't tried before, and he's trying, doing a couple of different formations, a couple of different players than he's had before. So I think he's just sort of trying and testing at a minute. I'm sure he'll settle down, but yeah, I think when you look across all games with Ian, he's sat with 5 draws from 6 games now. That's even on a home stage or anything, that's bloody unheard of, isn't it? So I think, yeah. I mean, obviously, I know I got away with a win at his place where I thought he slightly had better of me, and it's only when he's lost so far. So I take a bit positive from that, to be fair for myself. But yeah, a win's got to come at some point, and it.
No, couldn't agree more, pal. Couldn't agree more. And Jamie, 3 is certainly the magic number at Dragons HQ this year. Sloths 3, Dragons 3.
Yeah, I think any point away from home, you're going to be happy with. I think scoring 3 and not winning, that unfortunately is, a bit of a kick in the teeth. But, Khan, for me, has cost us big points the last 2 games, which is not something you'd expect. I think most people would say Khan, in season 1, if they had a choice of a keeper, I think Khan would be most people's choice. I know Buffon's up there as well, but I do think Khan season 1 is definitely the best in the league. But obviously the last 2 games, he's, cost us massively, especially against Sloths. It was, unheard of. But I think to take a point with Khan having such a, a mare, I think we'll definitely take that, especially with Sloths. We're on a very good run up until then as well. So definitely happy with that.
The final game on Sunday was 3, led to 1. I don't want to dwell too much on my own games. I don't want to be seen as blowing my own trumpet. I do like to prove doubters wrong. Obviously, Barry can't play DM, continues to excel. Ronaldinho can't play on the right, excelled. Harry Kuehl, everyone hates him, excelled. As it stands, look, all I'll say is I'm delighted and even slightly perplexed by the start we've managed to make. I thought when we got that defeat in game 2 it was to you, wasn't it, Steve? I thought, here we go again. But no, like I say, as long as I can keep this run going, I'm going to be delighted because let's face it, I've not done this before. I'm getting dizzy. I don't know what's going on. We move on to Wednesday, and Hodgie was on comms, put on a decent display. Was only biased against me. I thought he even showed the Scottish boys a bit of respect. And someone who didn't show the Scottish boys a bit of respect was Alf, as he went and absolutely tanked them 4-1.
Just a bit.
Greavesy, I'll come to you on that one. Were you surprised? I mean, this is the first time that Alf's boys have really turned up this year.
Alf has gone back to his old tactic. If you look at what he used last year in the Super League, this is the tactic. It's what he knows. It's what he really built his team for. He had a bit of influence before the league started, and he changed. He said he's going to try something different for the first 3 games, and he did, and it failed. And he's come back to his old tactic, and they've started romping, and they're the players that he's signed for that tactic. He's got Henri, Del Vecchio, Shevchenko, and he had Zamorano with him. That front 4, the way he plays it, if you get the ball to him, you can't stop him. I was worried that when I picked up 3 points at Astor, that he was going to play that tactic. I thought he was going to change. I was more happier playing his older tactic than what I would be this one, because there's so many variables in it.
You know what, Greavesy? I am relishing playing Alf, right? And I'm not trying to be a prick or anything like that, but Alf's a nice lad, yeah, absolutely brilliant. But all this mystery man stuff every week tells me he still doesn't know his best 11. Personally,
it is. I don't think he does.
I'll be honest with you, playing Del Vecchio left wing is very much a left field call, pardon the pun, and it's worked for him, which is great. But he's had that great result against Haggis and stuff. But I still feel like Alf's he's possibly over tinkering. And I think, like, you know, after about 8 for only last season when I did comms, I went in on him a bit again, and it's not anything but a position of respect. I just think he's. Yeah, like you said, he needs to go to tried and trusted stuff that works on the home saves, worked in the Super League before, worked with players in certain positions. And if he does get Del Vecchio, Zamorano, Shevchenko all firing, yeah, they are going to be difficult to stop. No, I would like
you want to play him when he's tinkering, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to create the illusion and the suspense and get people to second guess themselves. But the way I see it is, if I was playing him, I'd be like, don't matter who you're bringing in, pal. I don't think you know your best 11.
Yeah.
The flip side to that, I would argue, is you can't you can't argue with results. And after a difficult start, he did pick up 2 wins this week.
Yeah, you can't argue with results, but I do agree. Yeah, after he played 5 games, and then you're starting to talk about a mystery man, so it definitely suggests he doesn't know his best side, best formation, and that's obviously proved by changing it. He's gone back to his tried and trusted, and you'd expect him to stay with that now. I don't see him, unless he goes on a very bad run. I'd be surprised if he changes, kind of formation again. He just needs to kind of settle on, another mystery man this week. We're already into, game 7 now. So, yeah, I can see where, Chris is coming from, to be fair.
That's it. I'm genuinely not having a go. I'm just saying it. No. To me, it gives the impression that Al's sort of double bluffing. And he's trying different plays in different positions because he's still trying to get to that best 11 now. Obviously, he has picked up a few wins or whatever else, and that's great. And it could be a bit ominous if he does get his 11 to click. But I just think 7 or 8 games in, you've had 7 games, you've had 7 videos, you've had your reserve swaps as well. You should kind of know what's going on.
The bit I'm surprised at, his newest mystery man, if you look at his stats, as a DMC, he's not going to... I don't think he's as good as the DMCs he played in the last game. So he's going to be playing a weaker player.
Yeah, Alf knows his DMC, so, he wouldn't have dropped someone who was top class to the reserves, because that's the one position I think everyone knows that Alf knows what he's doing. So I'd agree with you. I wouldn't expect that person to be any better than what he's played this season so far.
And how early we are into the game, everyone really knows who is in each other's teams. It's not as if he's plucking anyone out of the arse end of nowhere.
No.
You just got to look on the squad list.
No,
Yeah,
and so-
yeah.
See who everyone's got.
If you look at what I did last season and what I do this season, I've got a squad of 40, but I generally trust about 15 or 16 players. And I just do slight rotations within that. I mean, I'm giving away the secrets here, but you know what I'm going to do every week, essentially. I'm going to play that same sort of crux of a decent centre-half, a decent DMC, Varane, see what happens in AMC, and probably receive
worried.
the best player.
Because I've gone 3 games without a win, and my normal formation that I stick to and I've been playing for the past 15 years has failed to really score more than 1 goal in a game for the past 3 games. I've gone for something a little bit different. And honestly, I'm a little bit rattled, but if it doesn't work, I'll be going back to my tried and tested next week.
Yeah. So what is interesting, actually, sorry, Five, can I just raise a quick point just for 2 minutes? It's interesting that Jens at Hools has gone with effectively a stock champ formation, the 4-1-3-2. And normally, as we all know, you have to do something normally a bit quirky, a bit funky or whatever to maximise the game's attributes. But he's just gone 4-1-3-2 and he's playing, I can't remember, his left back's Ivan Cordoba, he's more of a centre half. And yet he's been fantastic the last couple of games. And I can't imagine his playing instructions are too fancy because he's probably attacking and pressing and whatever, the standard stuff. But what are his playing instructions doing? His midfield 3 have all got arrows going forward. So it's not like they're going to be back at set pieces or, no
if you look at
or anything like that.
The players he's got doing it are solid, aren't they? You've got Semic, Nikiforenko and Beckham. They're all going to know how to do that all the time.
I think the work rate of those 3 players is all at least 18 or 19.
And you got Ndai in the back as well, who's just going to kick everyone.
Monster. Yeah.
He is Paddy V 0.20, isn't he? It's the cheap Paddy V.
Sorry, Five, go on.
Everything you've said there with regards to both Alf and even looking at formations, because it's something that was discussed before. Season 1, for those that watched it, 4-1-3-2, a lot of managers played. Some it worked, some it didn't. That's why people started changing. We had a lot of formation with width. Then we had a lot of formation with narrow. Now we're seeing more width again. And these things come and go. And maybe now is the time that 4-1-3-2 is making a comeback.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day that someone in the Super League plays 4-4-2. That's what I'm waiting for.
It's the 4 at the back that you never see anymore. I think that's why 4-1-3-2 never gets played, because you never see really a back 4.
No, it's very, very, very true, Jamie. Steve is being very quiet on this subject, so let's bring him in to discuss Bostock 3, Gazelles 0. Now, if you'd have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said that was a statement win for Bostock. But Gazelles have, is it fair to say, failed to live up to their early billing?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I think I was certainly one of the ones that punted them up there as if they were going to. I had them clear from day dot. I know I massively contributed to that by letting them have Roy Keane, and I think a lot more credit's got to go to Scott with that result rather than just downplaying what Gazelles are doing as well. I think Scott's had a phenomenal start to the season. And obviously, apart from against Agis, I think he's been absolutely solid. And I think people have probably been more cautious against Gazelles because I think everybody's thinking that they're going to be better. So you're trying to negate a lot of the players they've got, which I think there are about 8 of that 11 that are top players on the game. And I think it's probably coming to show that having a team of like Real Madrid Galacticos sort of thing probably doesn't work when everybody talks about your players like your Scallies and your lower end players sort of knitting the bigger sides together. I think unfortunately for Craig is they're all up top, so you've got people like your Agahauer who season 1 at this level probably not up to it yet, and a couple of them apart from his front 3 you take everybody behind him. But I can't see with the he's got at the minute. I think that's where he's struggling.
You know what, Steve? I wonder if, when he gets the videos from Martin, how many players he's got that are potentially unhappy because I can't remember what the quote is. You know, when you go on like the injuries and bans or whatever, and it says like feels he should be a first team regular or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wonder how much of the squad status and regularity of playing time potentially is affecting some of the other morale of the team. I'd be interested to see it, or for Craig to give us a comment. It might be something or nothing. But yeah, to your point, I think I backed Gazelles to win it in the sort of pre-season show, just because of the quality of squad they had. And then,
I agree with Steve. If you take their back 8, you probably say, it's as good as anything in the league. But then you go with the front 3, and they say how many of those players, I do like Clivert, but Raul, Aghauer, not in season 1, have they got the players at the top end to score enough goals like the other people? That would be my worry and question.
I think in season 1, Raul's wasted at AMC. He should be up front. With the people he's got available, when Clivert's injured, Raul should be up front. Playing both. It's Clivert, Raul's stats at the start, he's not an AMC. In a couple of seasons, when he's kicked in, yeah, you can play him AMC or striker, but he's striker.
Steve, let's come back to you and discuss Churchtown 1, Dudley 3. After the defeat to Astor on Sunday, you must have been delighted, and as you've said in your videos and stuff, your away form is a vast contrast to your home form.
Yeah, to be fair, once I saw Kieran's lineup, I was pleasantly pleased with it. If I'm honest, I was surprised to see him tinker that much. And like I said in the videos, I think against you, I played Ronaldo and Anelka up front. Ronaldo scored 2 man at match. Viduka come off bench and got 1. And stupidly, I haven't played a front 2 with Ronaldo left of them since, because of trying to more worrying about my own form. So I went back to that, and again, Ronaldo and Viduka got score sheet again. So I've just completely stuck with it for this week going forward. But yeah, I was absolutely delighted. The thing is, whether they come home or away, I think 3 wins from your first 3 games, from your first 6 games, where nobody's won any more than that, really. It's just, obviously, there could have quite been, if that first game had gone the way its stats said, I could have been sitting pretty, really. But it is what it is, and it's this game at its best, isn't it? So hopefully we'll see the formation continue Sunday night.
Chris, you made it 4 from 6 this week with a 2-1 win over Slough. I imagine you're quite pleased with the start you made and delighted with that result.
Yeah, do you know what? My only regret this season is in the opening game against Bostock, I think I really underestimated perhaps some of the strengths of my squad. So I tried to hit him on the counter and it didn't really work. Since then, I've took the handbrake off and said, go at teams. And bar the draw with Greavesy, where I was completely outplayed, I think I've been the better team in every game. Or at least I've deserved the result. It's not been too controversial for me to win, or even nick a point, whatever. So yeah, I'm quite happy so far. And I'll be honest with you. Right? Pardon?
I said, I don't know about that, pal. It was a controversial 122nd minute winner against us.
You played to the final whistle, fight. Did they tell you that from 4-year-old? Final whistle. I'll be honest with you, it was nice to stick it to the marrow lovers of Eastern Kurdistan or wherever they're from, particularly Joe Palmer, because Joe knows I'm better than him. He needs to admit it. So that was nice. In jest, Joe, in jest.
Breezy, let's come to you because I think I'm not selling you short in saying you have been phenomenal at the start of the season, and then it all came crashing down on Wednesday.
Well, as I alluded to earlier, too many changes. I underestimated them, and they had. There's no words about it. When Voots got a bit too young. The first.
I'm not sure if anyone else is getting that, but we seem to be getting some static.
Some feedback.
Yeah.
A bit young at the start, and I thought we'd try other lads and it just turned around and bit me in the arse. So it's back to the drawing board. I say I'm changing my formation this week. If it doesn't work out, I'll be cracking back in the original 2-2.
All I'm going to say at this point is I hope the recording picked up more than we got, because out of nowhere we got saying up the arse and then it stopped again.
Please.
We had Leicester 2, Northern Burn 2 as well. Steve, what do you make? Again, obviously we spoke about Northern Burn, Leicester, another team that people pick. They only picked up 1 point this week.
Jane, come on, let's be
Well, I think, I mean, Odgie just went all for it, didn't he, with that formation, really. And he gave us an hiding, he gave Agate an hiding. I mean, still, I thought last week when obviously when you're talking, the pictures come up. When he made that comment and ducked, just to show the way they smashed Agate was funny. But yeah, the way he's playing, he's carrying on. It's unpredictable for Roger, I really think. So he's going to keep handing out hidings, or he might not get a result. And again, with Ian, again, it's still a bit of a mystery looking back, because he's been so solid since the start of the season.
Jamie, last game to go through of the midweek review.
Yep.
I believe Wooder may well have been in charge for what is an undoubted Super League classic, Dragons 3, Devils 4. The man who somehow, on your excellent, I must say, the game's gone stream, only made 2 subs and played with 9 men against Rangers, but also couldn't get the job done against the worst manager in Super League history. What did you take from that game?
To be honest, other than obviously losing the game, I think it was nice to see a proper Super League classic. I think obviously the Super League has been so tight this year. You're seeing a few 0-0s, 1-1s, a lot of tight games. I think it was nice to see, a proper kind of humdinger. But again, I think a draw probably would have been fair. But unfortunately, for the second game on a trot, Oliver Kahn has kind of, bitten us on the arse again, unfortunately.
And was Mr. Wood severely disciplined for the performance? Because I believe you said yourself, I believe the quote was, "Don't lose to Ticey, anyone but him."
Yeah. After this season, after the Barry Ferguson quote, although I must say, I never ever said that Barry Ferguson couldn't play DMC. I just said he's much better in MC. And obviously in the first game of the season where you played Emerson in the MC and Ferguson DMC, I would have swapped them round. But obviously Ferguson's a quality player. He can play anywhere. But I still say now he's a much better MC than he is DMC. But yeah, Wood didn't listen. And he's obviously, he's been fined and he's been cleaning the toilets out this week as punishment. So hopefully he'll wise up in the future.
Just a quick note to our mutual friend, Mr. Tato Mourinho. Barry can't play DM. Listen, lads, we've only got a few minutes left. So what I'd like to do, if I can, is just quickly run through this Sunday's games and ask you all to make a quick prediction. I'll do it in the order as you appear on my screen. So we've got 5th place Dudley versus 11th place Halls. Greavesy, what's your prediction for that one, please?
I think Halls will carry on what they're doing. They're a vicious animal at the minute. I think Halls will win 2-1.
And Mr. Wright?
Tough game. We've got to pick an home win up some point though. I've not been confident at home apart from after that first game, but I think we're going to beat them. Apologies to Jens there.
C-Mac?
Yeah, do you know, I fancy Steve to do something here. Jens ain't going to break from that 4-1-3-2, so I think Steve looks to do something different to maybe disrupt that 4-1-3-2 rhythm. So I fancy Steve for the game. Obviously, not in general.
Yeah, I'm going for Steve to break the home duck and get a win.
Okay, I'm going to go for a score draw in this one. I'm going to say
on offence.
Well,
yeah.
Okay, well, I'll go first this time. Gazelles v Dragons. 12th place Gazelles hosting 10th place Dragons. I'm going to say just because Dragons seem to have taken my mantle kind of as like concede goals more than anything. Although I still have the record, I believe we saw Sunday, of most scored and most conceded this season. I'm going to say Gazelles take this 3-1. Greasy?
I think Gazelles' tactics have let them down a lot this year, and I think Dragons will beat them 2-0.
Nice. Steve?
Yeah, I can see Dragons getting a win because I'd be interested to see morale in that Gazelle side at the minute.
Chris?
Yep, I'd back Jamie as well, actually. I think Dragons have been a touch unlucky this year. They're obviously full of goals, and it's a matter of time before they start rolling teams over, in my opinion.
A lot of support there, Jamie. You confident? Who's in charge?
Well, don't matter who's in charge. Khan's not in goal, so we should be all right.
Game number 3, Greasy. In fact, no, we'll go reverse order this time. Jamie, game number 3, we have 5th place Haggis against 2nd place Fulchester.
Haggis v Fulchester. Yeah, I'm going to go away win 2-1.
Chris?
Yeah, we've mutually agreed to both play the same formation, allegedly, and they have got a stronger front line than me. So, again, I fancy Haggis in an entertaining game, 3-2.
Steve?
This one I'm going to sit on fence for this one too.
Get off that fence now.
3-1
Fulchester.
See, this issue now.
I'm 2-1 Haggis. Let's fly through these because we've only got 2 minutes left. So, Leddersford, Astor, Greavesy, just a score.
Astor will win 1-0.
Steve?
Odgie 2-1.
Sorry, Fife, you asked me?
Yeah.
Sorry, apologies, I didn't hear it. Do you know what? As much as I said I wouldn't back the Yorkshire Cartel earlier, I do fancy Odgie to win like 1-0. Grind the result out. Ardsley classic.
Jamie?
Odgie 2-1.
I'm going to say Hodgie 1-0. Reverse order then, Jamie. We have 6th place Boston versus 7th place Slot.
Home win 2-1.
Chris?
Boston.
Steve?
Yeah, I think Greavesy will pick it back up. 3-1.
Greavesy, you saw the blueprint there. I did what they did, but just better with inferior players. You know how to beat them.
I'm going to stuff them.
I'm going to say Boston win 2-0. Burnley Boston.
Had people predict what was that?
Burnley Boston.
We'll draw again. Draw.
Steve?
I can't see past Scott again, if I'm honest.
Chris?
Burn, actually. I think they'll break the duck and blow the league, top of the league wide open.
Jamie?
Yeah, 2-1 home win.
I'm also backing the Burn, and if everyone can just hold up a score on your fingers for 3rd place Devils v 1st place Churchtown, because I think it's going to cut off any second.
Devils.